Hari Om Shiva, Hari Om Shri Vidya ji, Hari Om Amma, Hari Om Gayatri ji, Namaskaram.
Hari Om ji.
Harmanna.
Hari Om.
Number today we'll continue from Nama 166. Nama 165 வரைக்கும் பார்த்தோம். Nirmama Mamata Hantri.
Sudha Mama, hi.
Hey, hi. Hi, brother. Hi, Dagutti. So we will see the word meaning என்னன்னு பார்த்துடலாம் first. It's pretty straightforward. Word meaning பார்த்தேன்னா Nirmama Mamata Hantri, Nishpapa Papanashini, Nishkrodha Krodha Shamani. So Nishpapayai Namaha, Om Nishpapayai Namaha, Om Papanashinyai Namaha, Om Nishkrodhayai Namaha, Krodha Shamanyai Namaha. Nirlobha, Lobhanashini. Okay, so it goes on like that, right? So Nishpapayai Namaha, the one who is sinless. So this is an attribute to Devi. The attribute is that she is attributeless. So the nir vardallame vande, it is nirguna upasana, which means we are pointing out to that Brahman or that Parashakti or that primordial consciousness in the nirguna form. It is worshipped in the nirguna form, or you approach it in its nirguna form. So Nishpapayai Namaha, the one who is sinless. Nishpapa Shamanyai Namaha, the one who destroys Papa, together with the root of all sinful tendencies. Papa Nashinyai Namaha. So she removes all Papa, and all the Karana of Papa, the root causes that can cause Papa. She removes all that also, the tendencies of causing Papa. Now let us look at what is Papa and what is all of this that's going on here. First thing, when we say she is sinless, so we are saying it is nirguna upasana. Nirguna upasana cholitale, there is no person there. But we are saying she who is sinless. So there is a little bit of contradiction there. Although you are saying it is nirguna upasana. When you are saying nirguna upasana means there is no guna, there is no attribute. So how can she, being sinless, be a non-attribute? Understand what I'm saying? So there's a bit of in a way we express it. See, the problem of pointing to something abstract is very, it's not possible because you're pointing to something which cannot be pointed at. For example, there's a classic case, Vedantala use pannuva. Vedantala, the use of gold or pot. These are classic examples that are used to demonstrate the various kinds of properties. For instance, the karana, upadana karana, nimitta karana, some of these aspects are described. What are the different forms of causes that an object has in its existence? So, just taking this example, if you look at a pot, when you want to point at clay, is it possible for you to point at clay and say this is clay? So when you're pointing at the clay of the pot, what will somebody say? Clay. The moment you say this is clay, they will think that pot is clay. Is the pot clay? The pot is made of clay. Right? If you look at a bangle, there's a bangle and you point at the bangle and you say, this is gold. This is not gold, by the way. I'm just saying, example. This is gold. If somebody thinks this is gold, this bangle is gold, are they right or are they wrong? They're probably both. They're right and they're wrong. Why are they right? Because yes, this bangle is gold, but is gold this bangle? I can point to a necklace and I say, this is gold. So then he'll be confused. Hey, nee, ipo gold nu sonna, ipo idu gold nu solriye. I think, no. See, the thing that it is made of, that is gold. Then you show a ring and you say, hey, this is gold. So what you're pointing at is gold, which is the substance. But what you can point out is the manifestation of it in some form or the other, in Nama Rupa. So the manifestation has to be in Nama Rupa, which means it has a name, it has a form. Correct? So when you're pointing at something which is the substance, it's very difficult to point at it and say this is a substance. It can be, the object may be could be mistaken for the substance. So adhe madri, when you're pointing at that which is nishkriyayai namaha or nishpapayai namaha, appadin nama solrona, which is an abstract thing. You're trying to point at something which is abstract. So the example of gold or clay. Now, is gold in all of these substances? The bangle, the necklace, the ring, the anklet. Gold is there everywhere. But is each one of them gold? No. But is gold everywhere? Yes. Clay, similarly. Is clay there in a pot, in a tumbler, in a plate? Clay is there. I'm assuming it's a clay pot and a clay plate and a clay cup. That's the assumption, right? Aluminium tumbler clay. The point is lost. The point is that these substances are made of clay. And when I'm trying to point at clay, I can only point at the object, how much ever I try. Similarly, when I'm trying to say Devi, Parashakti, Sadashiva, Narayana, whoever, that primordial principle that is there, when I'm trying to point at it, I can only point at an object. Because by virtue of pointing, you are differentiating between this and that. The moment there is duality, how do you express unity? Because I am pointing at something. The moment that duality is there, the ability to express that idea, that principle is lost. You'll not be able to. So which is why it is said it can only be experienced. It can only be experienced. So when I'm saying Nishpapayai namaha, appadina, avalukku pavame illa appadina, then you go searching, yaravo, where is she, who is this person who doesn't have papa, appdin thedindu ponana, it will be a lifelong search. Till the point you turn inwards. A very beautiful example that Guru Paramahansa Yogananda has mentioned once. Or movie paakarom namba. And the movie la vande, you've got actors, characters, play and all of that. You've got a beautiful meadow, a field, and there are cows, there are trees, there are streams, all of that is very beautiful, and there is this person in the meadow. But all of this is in a movie. Okay, it's in a film, it's in a movie TV screen. Now, how much ever, think of this, how much ever the guy in the TV screen or the movie screen wants to find out where the screen is, will he ever be able to? The guy in the movie will never be able to find out where the screen is. Because by virtue of him being inside the movie, he cannot find out where the movie is being played. So in the same way, we should recognize that by being in this movie, it is very difficult for us to figure out the screen, which is the Parashakti or that primordial principle. And the principle, if I want to point out, I can't point out using a finger, how much ever I try. அதனாலதான் திவ்ய பிரபந்தம் கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கேல. திவ்ய பிரபந்தம், there are 4,000 prabandham pasurams nu solluvada. They are called as pasurams, verses. There are 4,000 divya prabandhams composed by about 11 alvars, 12-13 alvargal, including Andal. 12 பேர் including Andal. So avalla வந்து அது என்ன பண்ணுவானா, these divya prabandhams are glorifications of Narayana in various forms. Krishna, Narayana, in various forms, each of the alvars how they have experienced. அதனாலதான் திவ்ய பிரபந்தம் வந்து, when they recite the divya prabandham, it is called as divya prabandham அனுபவிக்கிறது அப்படிம்பா. பாசுரங்களை அனுபவிக்கணும் அப்படிம்பா. அதே மாதிரி பாசுரம் சேவிக்கணும் அப்படிம்பா. சேவிக்கிறது is to you prostrate, which means you surrender to whatever is there. So அனுபவிக்கிறது அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவா. What does it mean is that you have to go into a state of, so your intellect kind of stops operating there. As long as your intellect is operating, it will always look for duality. It will always try to dissect. It will try to break down things, like what the scientists do now. Higgs boson, vacuum poi, you dissect, go into smaller particles, you go there. That's what you'll do. What you'll find at the end of the day, nothing. You'll end up finding nothing there. Which means you will end up finding no thing. There's actually no thing there. Because what we perceive as a thing has a nama and rupa, has a form and name. Everything has a nama and rupa. There's a very nice way of, in Buddha philosophy, this philosophy is called Shunyavada, which talks of, it says there is nothing. But when you come into Vedanta, it says there is no thing. Adhe word da, but they present it differently. So the beauty is, when we say Nishpapayai Namaha, அப்படின்னா அவளுக்கு பாபம் இல்லை அப்படின்னு யோசிச்சுட்டு நம்ம போயிட்டு இருந்தோம்னா, we keep we'll keep searching for it infinitely. So the idea of saying she is because language is in the realm of duality. The language can only present a subject talking about an object. Adudha mudiyum. Language is in the realm of duality. So when we are saying that Nishpapaye Namaha, she is sinless, what it means is this particular principle that is there, which is all pervasive. Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya. Because the closest representation of the Paramburul can be understood by us by means of space. Because the space is the closest tanmatra, or the closest element to the what we call as this consciousness, supreme consciousness. Nammaloda realm in the Panchabhutas, space is the closest. Space is all pervasive. Adu madri, this consciousness is all pervasive. Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Adu madri, when we are saying Nishpapaye Namaha, that principle does not, there is no concept of papa and punya that is associated with it. Now, you bring that into myself, which means this principle, when we say this consciousness is all pervasive, operating everywhere, it is operating in me also. Correct? If I say this is operating everywhere, it is operating in me also. Only thing is, the difference between me and a jada porul, which is an inert substance, is that I can express this principle that's operating through me. I can express it. The inert substance cannot express it. Otherwise, that consciousness, it's like the sun that shines on everything, the rain that falls on everything. This is the principle, the background of everything. So now, when we bring it from there, we bring it inwards. And now we say, okay, what does nishpapa means to me? What does it mean to me? What does papa means to me? What is pavam? Whatever, what is papa? Any action that we do has a result. So I don't want to go too much into karma, karma yoga, karma phala and all of that, but just to give a context of what is papa. சின்ன குழந்தையும் பாப்பான்னு சொல்லுவோம் நம்ம, ஏன் தெரியல. Papa. So this is papa. Adu papa. All right. So
ரெண்டு பாக்கு நடுப்புற இப்ப உண்டு பாப்பா.
So papa. Now, the reason I'm pointing that out is in Sanskritam there are some words which we end up pronouncing differently, which sounds like another word. So we got to be. Idu vandu papa. Papa means, so any action that we do has result. Karma has karma phala. Karma is action. Karma phala is the result of the action. The result of the action, there are twofold. It's either punya or papa. Punya means an action that yields into a good result, or an action that yields into a bad result. Now, what good or bad means is that when this comes back to you, when this papa or punya comes back to you, what happens in you is what defines that result. So if the output that comes, it comes back to you, it causes pleasant or happiness in you, pleasantness or happiness in you, that karma that you did is punya karma. If you do a karma and the result comes back to you, because result eventually comes back to you. And Newton vandu kandupidichitaru. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, which means it comes back to you. It comes back. So the result, when it comes back, if it causes suffering in you, that means the karma that you did is a papa karma. So punya karma, papa karma is determined by the result of the action, which then further comes back to you. Okay. So that is. Now, when we say punya karma or papa karma, what happens is we are always seeking either joy. We were seeking joy and happiness and running away from sorrow and suffering. This is what we do. Constantly we are doing this. Wanting to go closer to happiness, wanting to run away from sorrow and suffering. Which means what? Which means we should do more punya karma and we should do less of papa karma. Correct? This is a term. Punya papa is a term to show what you want. I want joy and happiness. Then I do this karma that is called punya karma, which gives me joy and happiness. If I want suffering, I do this karma that results in suffering for me. Hence, that karma is called papa karma. Just call it as karma A and karma B. One karma that you do gives you joy and happiness. One karma that you do gives you suffering. You would want to do more of A. You want to do less of B. This is what you want to do. Right? But the problem is most of the karma that is the problem that we fall into is of we don't know what actions cause what. Correct? We think if by doing something right now, it's going to cause me joy and happiness, that possibly is punya karma. because it's causing me joy and happiness. But then if it is not aligned to the larger scope of things, which is called as dharma. Dharma, dharma is another term. These are all of these things we can have much longer conversations, but the idea is that action which is not aligned to dharma causes papa phala. That which is aligned to dharma causes punya phala, and hence now how would I know? Because we don't know. There are dharma shastras or dharma sutras that are written, because there are master brains who have sat, thought, have revelations of how nature works. Nature works on dharma. நம்ம போய் விரல் வந்து தீல வச்சோம்னா, fireல if you put your finger, whoever you are, it will burn, because the dharma of fire is to burn. Same thing, the dharma of water is to make it wet. So there are rishis who understood how nature works, and they said, if you do these things, you are aligned to dharma. If you don't, then you are misaligned, and hence you will suffer. Now, will the suffering come immediately, or will it come later, in this lifetime, next lifetime? Theriyadu. We don't know. Which is why we try to stick to Nariya Peru Kepa. Karunanidhi pandradallam pannittu making a politically incorrect statement, but a lot of people feel this. There are people out there who do a lot of actions that have caused harm to many people, yet they seem to live a comfortable and a good life. Because we don't understand this law of karma entirely. It has its own bearings. It will come back in some form or the other. So we operate in this duality of papa karma and punya karma. Now, what we do, yes, Karna, Shiva?
Anna, in the trajectory, this you're mentioning that, okay, whatever we do, how it comes back, how that affects us, that's when you define that whether that karma is good or bad. Ilya. But this, and then so hence taking it from there, you should do this, so that loop is a pleasant one. But isn't this still feeding into samskaras? Because shouldn't we be focusing on getting on this end, where whatever we do, the sukha dukkha, how we perceive whatever that repercussion is, it is not perceived in a way that where we get upset, or where there is dukkha, so that we can get out of this loop. Shouldn't
Sure.
that be the whole
that is how correct. I was just developing the whole idea of saying what is papa, because we often see these are terms in a certain age and time, these made sense. Today's age and time, we don't know what makes sense in terms of what is punya, what is papa. We don't know. So I was trying to get a certain foundation on the definition of it, of how how it is defined. And then there are dharma sutras or dharma shastras or codifications that are done to define how one should live, so that you are aligned to dharma, so that you accumulate punya karma, right? Now, the problem is this definition is all lost, and we don't know. And today's world, it may not even, the same definitions don't hold true also in a lot of ways, right? What's written in the dharma shastras wouldn't matter today in the same way as it did matter. So the point is, now once you know that you are stuck in this, the first thing is to identify the problem. So what we're trying to do is identify that you're stuck in this duality of papa and punya. போய் ஒரு கோவிலுக்கு போய் ஒரு 108 தேங்காய் உடைச்சேன்னா, I will be able to clear my obstacles, or I may be able to pass my exams, or I may be able to get a job. Of course, in nature, there are subtle transactionary effects of these things. But then how do you move out from this? How do you move from the point that I want to accumulate punya, I want to not accumulate papa? This is good as long as your goal is swarga or heaven. ஸ்வர்கத்துக்கு போகணும் அப்படின்னா இது பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கலாம். அங்க போனா யார் இருக்கா? இதெல்லாம் சொல்றா, சாஸ்திரத்துல சொல்றா, இருக்கா இல்லையா? ஊர்வசி, ரம்ப எல்லாம் இருக்கா அப்படிங்கிறா. You go there, you enjoy the pleasures, you see, all your sensory pleasures, all that gives joy will be available to you in Swarga. And then you come back again. Punya kshine. Then you come back, all the punya is destroyed. You run out of the punya, maybe in several 100,000 years. Then you come back to Bhuloka. But why do you want to be stuck in this cycle of papa and punya, papa and punya?
Just as it is said, if we don't receive any result back to us within certain years or in the birthday, how we are going to define that? Whether we did it papam or punyam pani? How we are going to define that? In the janmathala, we may not get it back. We may not. Result, sometimes.
We may not.
And it will be carried to the next birth. இப்போ நம்ம பாப்பம் புண்ணியம் பண்ணினோங்கிறது நம்மளோட ஆத்மா எப்படி சொல்லும் நமக்கு?
Correct.
நாம எந்த விதத்துல அதை ரெகக்னைஸ் பண்ணணும்?
Correct. Which is where I'm taking the conversation to a point where we don't get stuck in this duality of papa or punya. See, the idea is, which is what Shiva was also pointing at, right? The point, Anana, these we understand that it's there like this in the realm of duality. The point is, we are wanting to move away from duality, which means we stop running towards punya, we stop running away from papa, or we stop running around. Correct? என்ன பண்ணா மோட்சம் கிடைக்கும் அப்படின்னா சும்மா இருந்தா மோட்சம் கிடைக்கும்னு சொல்றா. பட் சும்மா இருக்க முடியாது நமக்கு. தாய்மானவர் ரமணர்லாம் வந்து சும்மா இரு அப்படிங்கிறாரு. அதெல்லாம் ஆமா, வடிவேல் ஒரு படத்துல சொல்லுவான், சும்மா இருக்கிறது அவ்வளவு ஈஸி இல்ல.
இல்ல லிட்டரல் மீனிங் எடுக்க கூடாது. to go deep into it. சும்மா இருங்கிறது வந்து அவர் வந்து
it is not action, it's not physical action alone. Correct. பட் வடிவேல் ஒரு படத்துல சும்மா உட்காந்துருப்பான், போறோம் வரவெல்லாம் என்னையா பண்றேன்னா ஒன்னும் பண்ணல, என்ன இல்ல என்ன பண்றேன்னா என் அப்பா என்ன பண்றதா அதான் பண்றேன், அப்பா என்ன பண்றதா ஒன்னும் பண்ணல அப்படின்னு. அதுக்கப்புறம் நீ உட்காந்து, அவன் சொல்லுவான் என்ன சும்மா தானே இருக்க, சும்மா இருக்கிறது பெரிய விஷயமா அப்படிமா. நான் சொன்னேன் நீ ஒரு நாள் உட்காந்து காமி, சும்மா இருந்து காமி. It's really difficult. So the point is, when we are stuck,
because ninga and the definition of like what karma is, the only way something can be defined as punyam or papam is by our reaction to it, how it affects us. Correct. Right? So and the affect illena, then that karma ceases to be a punya karma or a papa karma.
Correct.
Right? So then
absolutely. So your response, correct, you're right, you're going in the right direction. So your response to the stimulus is what defines what you carry as your karma. The karma that you carry is defined by the response to the stimulus that comes. So the response, if you respond in a neutral way, then the karma or the karma has two meanings also. One meaning is the action that you do, and the samskara that you accumulate or accrue, that is also called karma. Karma phala that you accumulate is also called as karma in normal terms.
The balance sheet la input irukadu.
Correct. So when you're trying to so the idea is to move away from this analysis of punya papa, because we are stuck. Honestly, like Amma was also asking, we spend a whole lifetime in trying to figure out what is the right thing to do and what is the wrong thing. What is the idana tappu panteno, adana correcta panteno, adu tappu panteno, correcta panteno ngra evaluation liye we lose a lifetime. And the point is to try and see, and when we are pointing her as Nishpapaya Namaha, it is pointing to a state within us which is there, which is completely devoid of the impact of punya or papa. There is a state within us, which is the pratibimba or the reflection of the supreme consciousness, which we call as jivatma, atma, whatever we call it. It is the pratibimba or the reflection of that consciousness, supreme consciousness within us, which is fundamentally nishpapaye namaha. It is fundamentally nishpapa, which means no papa or punya sticks onto it. It is I who come in between, onto which it sticks on. There is a very beautiful line. Tomorrow, I don't know, when we see this Ishavasya Upanishad, the second shloka of verse of Isha mantra of Ishavasya Upanishad is Kurvanne veha karmani jiji vishe chatagum samaha tvai nanyate tosti na karma lipyate nare. Na karma lipyate nare. Actually, if we can go through the Ishavasya Upanishad when we go through Saturday mornings, we'll see this particular shloka talks about karma and how karma does not stick on to me. Na karma lipyate nare, on the man. Man, na man, woman, whoever, human being. It does not stick on. Lipyate, not stick on. Na karma lipyate nare. This is the only way. Which way? Kurvanne veha karmani jiji vishe chatagum samaha. Adu namba anga paakala. But the idea is that you focus on what you need to do and you keep your mind on that ultimate principle. The moment you put your mind there on that ultimate principle and don't stick on to anything, then even papa and punya will not stick on to you. It's because we want some things to stick on to me and some things I don't want to stick on to me. Then papa and punya will also stick. And then we'll forever try to keep cleaning, washing powder, nirma. பண்ணிட்டே இருப்போம். கங்கா ஜல்ல போய் முக்கி எடுத்தா பாவமெல்லாம் கிளீன் ஆகும் அப்படின்னு சொல்றோம். And then போய் பண்றது பண்ணிட்டு திரும்பி வந்து ஒரு முக்கு முக்குறோம். It will not work that way, right? The papa doesn't get cleansed. It has, of course, Ganga, that's a different conversation. Ganga Mata has that effect. But the point is, it doesn't give you the liberty to go and do the nonsense that we continue to do.
நம்ம இதுல கீதையில கூட நம்ம ஆத்மா பத்தி படிக்கும்போது நான் போகா நான் போக்தா சொல்றோம் இல்லையா? Neither do you enjoy the results nor you.
The Triputi, yeah, correct. So you don't have the effect of the Triputi. The bhoga, the bhokta, and the bhogya. The enjoyer, the enjoyment, and the object of enjoyment. All the three. None of these are you. The Triputi in Shalvada. Correct. Bhagavad Gita. So, I know we are running over. So, Nishpapaye Namaha is, she is that, or she is, I am that principle. The consciousness that is in me, that is operating in me, is Nishpapa. It does not stick on, there is nothing that sticks onto it. Nishpapa is representation. It means it is also Nishpunya. Nishpapa na adhikaga vandu punya la chetukalam appadi illa. It doesn't mean that you again, because duality, the mind operates in duality. The point here is Nish means nir or Nish means no gunas, nothing sticks on. All right. So that is what she is, that is what we are, that is what I am, that is what we are in principle, and fundamentally that is what I am, and that is what we need to work towards. Move away from this whole, whatever the definition of papa, punya, karma, lottu, losuku, ellati, move away. You can spend a whole lifetime trying to understand what is karma. You can start putting a map, mind map, mari poti inda karma panna idu varum, idu panna adu varum, idu panna idu varum, ponde irkalam avladhaan. Vaalka mudinjirum, pala janmakal mudinjirum. You will never get anywhere.
Keep counting.
1 + 1. Sorry?
Keep counting the cows.
Exactly. 1 + 1 will never take you to infinity. 1 plus 1 plus 1 panindranonna, you get a large number, you add 1, it will get another larger number. It will never take you to infinity. To go to infinity, to go to Nishpapaya Namah, Nishkrodhaya Namah, Nirlobhaya, Nishkriyaya Namah, to be there, you have to directly jump. It's a leap of faith. It is a leap of sadhana and a leap into yourself. This is what needs to be done. Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti. Om Kayena Vacha Manasendriyerva Buddhyatmana va Prakrite Swabhavat Karomi Yatyat Sakalam Parasmai Narayanayeti Samarpayami Sadashivayeti Samarpayami Jagadambikaye iti Samarpayami Sadgurunathayeti Samarpayami Hari Om Tat Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you.